Before too long, people started making copies of the 13-footer. Dad showed up with one. Dad said, I want you guys to take this out. It was going to be a nice rough day the next day. I want you to take this, drive it down to Boston Harbor and back. And about halfway home, we noticed it was getting kind of squishy in the bottom. It was just doing that. And we got home fine, but the boat was destroyed. Pretty straightforward example of what separated the Whaler from other boats. It clearly justified all the work Dad had done and continued to do to maintain the integrity of it.
When I saw my father in Life magazine, I figured if I didn't get a heart attack that day, I never would. When suddenly I turned the page and, oh my gosh, there's Daddy. And I, of course, freaked out. There he was in his outfit. That's what he wore all the time.
Gee, Dad, next time you saw one in half, can I come? He really felt a strong attachment towards his customers. He sort of felt they weren't aware of what they could have. And so he had to kind of develop it and present it to them. When he could get folks out in them, they loved it. They'd come back for more. The customers ended up selling the boats for Dad. He didn't have to do sales. He had to do service. He had to get the boats out there. He had to build a network of dealers. Once they were able to get the boats out to the people, they'd sell themselves.
A thing I remember, sitting in the restaurant at Logan Airport, and he got real quiet, and probably the only time ever that I can remember him really kind of talking from his heart. And he said, you know, we've built this 13-foot Whaler, and it's excellent, but now what do we do? Do you just build a bigger one? Or you just build more of them? What do you do? And of course, I had no answer, and he didn't either at the time. But looking at the catalog the other day, I thought, wow, there's been a lot happening since I was involved. The passion I feel for Boston Whaler, that I still am proud to say, my daddy helped design the Boston Whaler.
Boston Whaler is such a wonderful brand. It's because of the heritage and the history behind the brand, what the brand stands for with product safety, product quality, and a history of great innovation.
The ability of a Boston Whaler to be faster and more powerful was due to the fact that the boat, for its size, is extremely lightweight. The foam core construction eliminates the need for wooden stringers and wooden timbers in the boat, which add weight. So by comparison, a Boston Whaler would go much faster with the same amount of horsepower. And of course, with the extra speed, it was more fun.
The first model was a 13 Sport that launched Boston Whaler officially in 1958. In the mid-60s, they expanded the product line to a 17 and then to a 15, and the first center console boat came out. And then from there, Boston Whaler continued to grow with different models. They had a cabin boat called a Menemsha. They built sailboats, the Squall and the Harpoon, and then up into the 70s and 80s, they did different versions and iterations of their 13s and 15s and 17s with sports and super sports and limiteds. So we had a lot of variety and variation of the products. When they got into the 80s, they began to expand even larger with boats like Temptations, boat like some of the Walkarounds and the Revenges, and a whole bunch of different families of products that got us into the 90s. And I think the highlights of the 90s were the Rage. Boston Whaler brought the first jet boat to market, and a lot of other products that we did over the years to get us where we are today with our 6 families of products that really make up our brands. Our Sports, Montauk's, Dauntlesses, Conquests, Venturas, and Outrages.
Today, I believe that the product line, along with being unsinkable, self-bailing, strong, safe, dependable, all of that, is also one of the most user-friendly and feature-heavy products in the marine industry. I believe that's what's behind the incredible loyalty that Boston Whaler owners feel toward their boats and this company.